Go ahead and undo the battery, hold down on the vehicle, and if your hybrid battery is located in the trunk of the vehicle and you wanted to make sure you don't lose the data, you could do the same exact process as I'm doing here and leave your jumper cables, your power bank, your jump pack, whatever that is, in the front, and it'll make it easier for you to maneuver the battery out of the back on some of the older hybrids. The reason I'm making this video is I read a lot of information on people being quoted by dealers that if they don't have the dealer do it, it's going to mess up the hybrid component, and that's not true. So just wanted to see if I could save you guys a little money today. So I got the 12mm bolt out, the bracket, and you want to make sure you get this back in because not having a battery bracket, we're going to talk about that a little bit later and some of the dangers. And I got myself a little helper. Cyrus, can you say hi?
Hi.
Alright. Loosen up this 10mm bolt here and this 10mm bolt here. And I'm going to go and start removing the terminals. You normally want to move the negative terminal first.
Can I do that?
Yep. So now we're going to go ahead and undo the negative terminal. Cyrus, you want to pull on that?
Yeah.
I got the battery back in, facing the right way. And I'm going to go ahead and connect my battery back. And now you want to go ahead and tighten down the terminal amps. And there's a rating on here that tells you 400 right there. So if I do a load test on this battery now, you guys will see what happens. See that, how it holds up? And the magical number on most vehicles is 9.6. So you want to make sure your voltage under load is at 9.6. And you can hold a load for about 10 to 15 seconds if you're really trying to test the battery. But this battery is checking out solid. And I'll have a link to this product down below. It's only about 30 bucks. And it checks your batteries, your charging systems, and can help you troubleshoot all kinds of stuff, because people often replace a battery when they really need an alternator, and they replace an alternator when they need a battery, and then they replace starters when they really needed a battery or check the connection in the line. So really helpful. And let's go start the car now. Alright, so I got my keys now. Generation, which is a 2016 and newer Prius, where the battery is located in the front. You do not need to buy an AGM battery. An AGM battery is the battery that actually goes normally in the back. It's the same 12-volt battery, but since it's not vented to the outside space, like in this case, the engine can vent, you can just buy a regular lead acid battery, and these are fairly inexpensive. The AGM batteries are a lot better, and I actually tried to get an AGM battery for this vehicle. They didn't have any in this group size over here, and whenever possible, try to get an AGM. And the AGM is the absorbed glass matter, and it does phenomenally well in the cold, and it's almost like a deep cycle battery, so it does really well. And then the other thing too is you can actually keep your battery from decaying by once in a while throwing it on a battery charger. And I will have a link to a couple of great battery chargers that I found over the years. And another thing you can do too to really lessen the load on your battery is to go ahead and change out the lights on the interior of your vehicle to LEDs. So this Prius came with regular map lights and dome lights, and they create a lot of heat and waste a lot of energy, and the kids would leave the lights on, and for the first year that happened. So I went ahead and changed that out, and it honestly saves you a bunch of money in the long run, because you're not having to worry about a dead battery as much. You could also change them out on the visors and all over the vehicle. And besides throwing your battery on a battery charger once in a while and changing out the lights on the interior to LEDs, keep an eye on your terminals. So if you're doing your own oil change and you notice there's a lot of corrosion, go ahead and grab a wire brush and you can go and get rid of that corrosion. I sometimes use Coke, hot water, to basically eat up the corrosion. And another thing you can do too is you want to go and avoid certain products like those protectants. They normally are sprayed upon the actual battery terminal here, and they're supposed to help, but they can actually do the opposite, where they actually go cause resistance between the battery and the actual terminal. So try not to use anything like that. And I hope the video helped you guys out. If you have any questions about the process,
and put it on 12 volt, 200 amp, engine start, and 15 minutes. Pop the caps off so the gases won't be trapped, and make sure that we've got enough acid or distilled water in there. You want to be down about a ½ inch from the top, but you want to make sure the plates are covered. You don't want to see the plates, about a ½ inch above the plates. We're good. So we'll do 15-minute charge, let it rest an hour. 15-minute charge, let it rest an hour. We'll do that 5 times and see if it revives the battery. Our first 15 minutes completed. We'll go ahead and shut it down, let it sit for an hour, and then we'll do another 15 minutes. Bubbling quite a bit. Just finishing our 4th round of charging, and you can see the cells are bubbling quite a bit. Sure hope this works. We'll give it an hour to rest, and then one more round of 15 minutes, and we'll be set. Very well. And my great hope is that the sulfation, which is the crystallization of lead sulfate on the lead plates, has been dissolved and the battery has been restored. We'll let that sit overnight, at least 12 hours, probably more like 16 or so. And then we'll see if we have revived this battery charger, and we'll run some tests. We'll check how many volts we have. .06, and I've never been able to charge it that high before, so that's a positive sign. Now we'll go ahead and load test this. Just under 13 volts. Put a load on it. We're about 10.5, barely good. Now let's install it in the tractor and see how it cranks. That's not good. Well, after all that work, I would say that was not successful.
That's not good.
Just so you know, I'm going to put a good battery in there and show you that the engine does crank fine. It's not a problem with the start. Drain the battery and try the baking soda, which is another touted YouTube fix for batteries. Pull the caps off and drain the acid out. Alright, get the acid out. And it's dirty. And filter out the acid. You want to be real careful with this stuff. It'll burn your clothes. It will stain your concrete. so be careful with it. It burns your skin a little bit. While we're waiting for that to filter out, I'm going to go ahead and put my mix of baking soda and distilled water in the battery to hopefully get rid of the contaminants that are in there and free up the plates. So I think it takes about 4 cups of distilled water. I've got 2 cups or 1.5 cups in here, and I'm going to go with a cup of baking soda. Hopefully that's cleaning off all the plates. Alright. Okay, I'm going to put the caps back on. And I'm going to rinse this off. You can see it's still bubbling in there. I'm just going to shake it. Yeehaw! I'm going to keep shaking it until it quits having that reaction and neutralizes that and get all the junk out of there. Hopefully cleaning those plates. It's been about 15 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes. Got this strained out. Okay, I got it all shaken up. Now I can dump it back in here. That dirty stuff. And I'm going to keep flushing it out. Give it another shake. And we'll go with another flush. Now with our filtered acid, we'll go ahead and fill it back up. And see how it is. Probably topped off with a little distilled water too. Again, you don't want to spill this or get it on your clothes. Irritate your hands, your clothes, put holes in your clothes. And we'll just top these off. So I'm using acid and distilled water. And we'll just top these off. You want to make sure to cover those plates, but stay down about a ½ inch. And we're good. We'll take the volts, pre-charge, negative, positive. We got 11.96. We'll go ahead and put it on the trickle charger and see how many DC volts we get, but also we'll do a load test on it, and then most importantly, we'll put it back in the tractor and see if it'll start it up. It's been about 30 hours on the trickle charger. The cell level is still good. 12.8283, which is just fine. But like I said, that's great, but it doesn't do any good for cranking amps. So let's see what we got for cranking amps in our load test. I need to turn the battery around for this. Yeah, we're showing 13. Now we'll do our 10-second load test. Oh, that's not good. I wished it would have stayed up higher. It's pretty much the way the last test went. And we didn't even come back up to 13. We went up to 12 on this. I'm going to go ahead and put it back on the trickle charger. Let it trickle charge for 24 more hours. And do this test again and then install it and see if it'll crank the engine.